Hi, y'all. Welcome to the Panic Button Podcast. I'm Nina. Today we're reacting to Bill Maher. He was on the podcast Pod Save America with John Lovett, and they get into the topic of transitioning children. And this went about how you would expect it to go. So let's watch it.
What's something he did
like we're an outlier in the trans.
So let's talk about that
with other countries. I mean, the UK, the Nordic countries, all pulled back on that as far as like puberty blockers and operations for kids under 18, letting children self-diagnose, keeping it from parents. All this stuff has gone on and still goes on in America. If it's something like that and you're a parent, which I am not, and I'm glad I'm not, that issue is a lot closer to home to you than Ukraine.
So let's talk about...
I didn't even know where it was 5 years ago, and now I care more about that than this issue.
I want to talk about the transition, but let's talk about it. The position, look, other countries have national health services. The Democratic position is leave it up to parents, doctors. Just leave. It's not the government's decision. That's the Democratic position. What's wrong with that position?
Wait, say that again?
The Democratic position, right? Joe Biden.
The Democratic position in this state has been that the school has the right to hide it from the parents. That is something that is not going to go well with the average voter. And again, I'm not even a parent, and I get it. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And here's the thing that's so hypocritical about the school hiding transitioning children from their parents. It's that if the parent doesn't want the child to transition, then protect the child from the parent by hiding it from the parents and allowing them to transition in school, socially transition, et cetera, et cetera. But if the parent wants to have the child transition, then we don't need to protect the child from the parents. You know, the Democrats say, leave it up to the parents to decide. You know, parents have the right to do, with their children what they want, which I disagree, but that's what they say. But at the same time, they're saying if you don't transition the child, then the parent is bad and protect the child from the parent. It doesn't make any sense. Are we alienating parents from what their child is doing, or are we keeping them in the loop? Are the parents the ones who decide what they want to do for their children, or is it the school and the state? It's so messed up.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I think the governor here used the word snitch. Now, if I'm wrong, I didn't say it. So I think I read that.
So there are delicate problems here. But wait, there's delicate problems here, and there's a delicate problem where you have a kid, all right, who is either non-binary or trans, who feels scared at home, feels unsafe at home. Those things do happen in the world. There are things that happen in the world. But for the most part, that's not what we're talking about. For the most part, what we're talking about is a teenager who has felt that they have a gender dysmorphia. So what they feel like is that they feel deeply unhappy, depression, all really rampant.
Right, but how much of that is caused by other people talking about it with them? How much of that is caused by social media and the school and their friends? How much of it is actually something that happened in their head that has nothing to do with any factors around them? That's the problem with the children transitioning thing. One of them is that we don't know if this child is transitioning or wants to transition because they honestly feel this way and they have no outside influences, or the child wants to transition because of so many influences. Friends, school, etc. And because we don't know that, we shouldn't just be going along with, let's transition the child, because we don't know. There's no guidelines. There's no system in place for us to be able to weed out the children who are transitioning because of social shit. We don't have a system to weed that out. So we're just transitioning all of them and accepting that they want to transition and socially transitioning them and changing their names and all this stuff. And it's not safe when we have other surgeries like gastric bypass. There's a system that you have to go through in order to get gastric bypass, right? There's more of a system for that than there is for transitioning children. Doesn't that say anything to these leftards? No, because they're like, oh, well, if this person is suffering, then we have to affirm them. You're going to say the same thing to Eugenia Cooney, that chick who is just bones and skin? We don't do that with Eugenia Cooney. So why are you doing it with children? It just empathy. There's such thing as not only suicidal empathy, but homicidal empathy, where you can be so empathetic towards someone and affirm them so much that you're actually causing harm to them. Now, adults can do what they want, but when you're messing with children, they're so on the wrong side of this. It's baffling that they're just like, no, set in stone. This is what we're going to do. And I don't care what the other side says or the good points they make. No, because we want to be right. Because we know what's best for little kids. And so do their parents. But only if they want to transition them. Like, what the fuck, dude?
Rampant.
Yes,
and they go to their parents.
They feel that, and then they blame it on the thing that has been put in their mind way too much. That it may be because of you're in the wrong body, to put it probably wrongly, but that we understand what that means. Okay. Now, it could be that case. When Trump said there's only two sexes, again, pendulum swinging way too far to stupidity. Okay.
But there are only two sexes, Bill. This is where you become stupid. This is one of the only things I've actually heard Bill Maher say that was completely retarded. When he's saying there's only two sexes, that's just ridiculous. What's the other sex, Bill? The intersex people? Well, they're either on the one spectrum or the other, which is male with developmental shit going on, or female with developmental shit going on when they were in the womb. But that's not a different sex. So what is the different sex, Bill? Because gender ain't sex. It used to be, but when the radicals took over, they changed it. Gender is in your head. And we can't be putting laws in place and protections in place for people who think they're something that they're not. Because you can identify into an oppressed group, and now what you get a check, you get social credit, you could sue people. This is where it gets muddy.
Okay, obviously sex is more complicated than just two sexes. There are people who absolutely, are quote unquote in the wrong body. But when you're a kid, when even a teenager, and you're that confused about everything and you have no idea and you're upset for many other reasons, the idea that they put it, let me just finish.
I'm not saying it.
I know, I could see you were ready. I could see you pulling back the bow. And the fact that they put this in their head too much, that's my thing. Should you tell a kid, look, there's a default setting for humans, male and female, but there are variations. That's absolutely true. Some people are attracted to people of their own sex, and some people are actually in the quote-unquote wrong body, and that does happen. But the amount that they emphasize this, I compared it once on my show to entrapment.
So
see, there you go.
I disagree. I'm sorry. Is that not the end? Is it?
No,
I thought entrapment had a period at the end.
Could I explain it?
Yes, explain. I think we all get it, but yeah, explain it. Entrapment.
I don't think everybody does get it.
Okay, explain it.
Okay. Well, what is entrapment? Entrapment is when you suggest something to people that they weren't ordinarily going to do. I use the example of after 9/11. The FBI got caught basically entrapping some people, which is what they went to people who excuse me, I'm not done.
Right.
Jesus, these guys, man, these feminized men, they act like the rudest, childish high school girls. When the right says that men are being feminized, this guy, John Lovett, is the epitome of a feminized male. Now, I don't know if he's gay. He seems gay to me. No offense, gay guys. But holy guacamole, cannoli, feminized male. There are gay guys who are feminine, who are just, they're funny. They're happy-go-lucky. And then there are the feminized men who are like, they're very bitchy. No, I want to talk. Or, you're not right. I'm right. And that's him. This guy would get on my last freaking nerve.
I'm sorry. You're right. Honestly, that was rude. That was rude. That was rude. Bill, finish. You're explaining how being trans is like being recruited into Al-Qaeda.
I just want to smack you. You're so smart, aren't you? You're so sassy. You're so sassy. You're really? You won't go there? Really?
Well, that's glib and
absolutely 100% glib. Stupid and glib.
It is.
Yes,
because it's not true. And
right.
You didn't even let me get through the.
You're
thing.
right.
And now I got to go.
You're just gonna leave? We're in the middle of a debate.
I think Bill Maher knows that this guy's just a fucking asshole because he is. He's a little bitch. He's a little salty, little man. No offense, men.
No, okay, I'll finish this. Entrapment. Like, okay, so they go to somebody, they go to a group of guys. They did this in a group of poor black guys in Miami and were unhappy with America. And, hey, wouldn't it be great if we blew up the Sears Tower in Chicago? And these guys didn't even have a gun. And it's like, yeah, I hate America, or I got problems with America. That does sound kind of cool. And hey, well, we can get you the explosives. And that's entrapment. Okay, you put an idea in people's heads that wouldn't have been there otherwise. Do I think in most of...
And you're putting ideas into children's heads. These are individuals who are children who don't have the capability to critically think. Brain's not fully developed. They don't have the ability to discern from bad faith actors and good faith actors. So they listen to the adults because they know the adults have lived longer, they have experience, and for the most part, these children just assume that the adults know what they're talking about. So when they affirm these ideas that are in their head or got planted in their head, it's doing a disservice to the child. And it also really makes you realize that the adults in the room with these children are probably the worst adults to be in the room with these children, because these are also adults that can't critically think or endure pushback or debate. So, I mean, when you got people like this, like John over here, saying that kids can transition, these are the types of adults that we don't want around kids because they're a bad influence on children. They're not teaching them things, they're affirming them and saying, here, you take the wheel and we'll see how it goes. And I'm sure you know exactly how to get to Tallahassee and you won't run the truck off a cliff because you know yourself, right? How does a child know themselves when they're still developing? There are people in their 50s who still don't know themselves. But by the time legal age hits, well, now everyone's off the hook for your decisions. But until then, who's ever helping these children make these decisions should be on the hook. Because children, they can't consent. And if a child can't consent, then the person who is taking care of the child is the one that's going to be on the hook. When the child eventually decides that, transitioning wasn't a good idea because, well, now I'm an adult, I can't have an orgasm, and I can't have children. Who do you think's going to pay then? John Lovett? Nah, because guys like this who push this crap, they never pay. Which is why I think they're so cunty and they're so snotty and snide, because they get away with everything and they don't have to pay for it. Well, they do have to pay for the 17-year-old male hooker in their motel room. But aside from that,
I think in most of America, they did that in schools. I don't. But I think in enough of them, in enough far left places, they did constantly have this idea in the minds of children that maybe you're not in the right body. I mean, the New England Journal of Medicine advocated for taking sex off of a birth certificate, I believe. It was like, it's your assigned sex.
Assigned sex of birth. Yeah.
You're assigned.
I think that's right.
I was assigned it by my dick, okay, when I was born. Yes, and again, to tell kids, it doesn't always have to be, and isn't always the default setting, but that's a different mentality than they put in the minds of kids. And that's why this debate goes on. And the fact that you think, or a lot of people on the left think that even if you just have this debate, it makes you a bigot, you just have to roll over. That was, you asked about the Biden administration. That was their position. If you even question this, you're some sort of a bigot. And this is new science, and it has to do with children, and it's not going to look good in the future, that position.
Can I just respond to something?
Now you can.
Now I can respond? All right. Can you just all right. Let's just do, there's a lot. You definitely said your piece.
Just say your bullshit while I'm in the bathroom.
Just stay for 1 second.
Just say your bullshit while I'm in the bathroom.
Okay, I'm kidding.
Unbelievable.
I'm kidding.
All right, no.
What a little bitch. It's so hard. It's so hard to be like a stoic reactionary content creator. It really is. Because when you see these guys and you see how fucking bitchy they are, they're just like high school girls. Oh, I knew so many of these women like him, and I couldn't stand the cunts.
A lot of things there. First of all, this is going to sound confrontational. For a long time, people said, older gay people are recruiting kids to be gay. And they wouldn't really be gay. It was they were being recruited, they were being groomed, that they were being drawn. That was the conservative position. The Christian right position for a long time was the reason you didn't want to have gay teachers is they're going to recruit that the gay lifestyle is going to look so enticing and so exciting that it's going to bring these poor defenseless boys, they mostly boys, into the gay lifestyle and destroy their lives. But of course, that wasn't true. Really?
Okay, dumbass opinion right there. Call it out, dumbass opinion. Because yes, the conservatives back in the day, they used to say that gays would go after children. You didn't see teachers going into schools and being like, "Hey everyone, I'm gay." You didn't see that. You didn't see them talking about their sexuality or putting a pride flag up in the classroom. You didn't hear them talking about how the gay lifestyle is so amazing. It's so awesome. And if you feel like a little bit of attraction towards your fellow male student, then that's good. That's amazing. Talk to me all about it. You didn't see that shit, okay? You didn't see gays going, "Yay, we're gonna come for your kids," until the San Francisco Gay Male Choir. And until the pride parades where they're saying, "We're here, we're queer, we're coming for your children. We're coming for your children." You didn't see that back then until the queers and the transgender crap got involved, and then everything went maniacal and crazy and predatory. So when this fruitcake uses us gays and conservatives to make his point that it's totally cool for a child to go into a school and have the teacher with the trans flag and the gay pride flag affirming your child, calling them a different name and saying that they're a different sex when they're not. You didn't see that then. You didn't see teachers going on TikTok and talking about how they have a gay agenda. You didn't see any of that shit. No. So what he's talking about is a bunch of Garcana knocking. Thank you. Golden Girls.
True. Really, all gay teachers were an example.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Look, there are a few examples of people getting older and realizing that they shouldn't have transitioned. That happens. It's real. That's real.
Yeah, more than a few.
But
more than a few. Woo! Way more than a few. That's how you know this guy has his head up his anus. The shit's impacted in his ears and he can't hear anything. Nor can he see because he's just looking at the inside of his anus. There are so many detransitioners out there. This isn't like a fairy tale where it's not happening. No, it's happening. A few. How does it look up there in your anus? They look good? Get a good whiff of yourself?
really important surgeries that people get for their heart, and they go wrong and somebody dies. And nobody says we must stop the cardiologists. No one says we must stop the surgeons. We say,
wow. This is how you know this guy's never received pushback before or ever debated this point, because that's one of the most retarded points I think I've ever heard someone make. I mean, there are a lot of retarded points, but this one's pretty retarded. Heart surgery is necessary or they die. Children transitioning is an unnecessary surgical intervention that does more damage than benefit. There is no scientific evidence out there that proves that transitioning children will make them less suicidal. One retarded doctor tried to get the proof on it, did a study for 10 years, millions of dollars, and guess what? She didn't release the findings because, I wonder why. Maybe because her argument is bullshit. And you know what? It's also doing a disservice to children because it's messing with their health. Aside from osteoporosis and a whole bunch of other things that I'm not going to get into right now, but you can look up, comparing transitioning a child and heart surgery. That's retarded. And every surgery is going to have, and medicine is going to have some sort of side effects, complications, whatever. But those surgeries are needed. They're needed. Transitioning a child? Needed for what? Because the child says they're going to kill themselves, so, we have to give it to them because now they're threatening to kill themselves. Well, I know a lot of girls who have had boyfriends who said, if you leave me, I'm going to kill myself. You know, that's emotional manipulation. That means there's something not right up here. The last thing we want to do is to stay in the relationship, transition the child, and hope that they won't want to kill themselves later. Fingers crossed.
We say,
That's your analogy?
Well, my analogy is only that, wait, let me finish.
I'm just...
Can I finish?
Yes.
Is it my turn to talk?
No, you're right.
And what you say is, let's make sure that this version of it is being practiced well. We don't get rid of the specific surgery. We don't throw out a whole field of medicine. We say, let's make sure we're doing it in a way that's healthy. The science, the research, all right, makes clear that, yes, there are exceptions. Yes, there are people practicing it in ways that maybe go too far. But for the most part, Study after study shows that gender-affirming care saves... Wait, I'm talking. It's my turn. I was so quiet.
There's so many studies that he can't name one. What studies is he fucking talking about? If these studies were accurate, why are so many countries reverting back and not following through on this insanity? Why do you think other countries pulled back? If the studies prove, and there are so many children's lives being saved by giving them medications that they don't need and surgeries they don't need, why are other countries pulling back? What studies? I've heard this retarded explanation a plethora of times. But you know what I've never heard? Not one goddamn study has ever been put forth to prove their retarded point. Never.
It's my turn. I was so quiet for so long after I interrupted
Well,
a
you
few
weren't,
times.
but okay.
But once I stopped talking, boy, I was good at it. And that gender-affirming care saves a lot of lives. And the truth is,
when this shit comes back to bite everyone in the ass, I'm holding John Lovett accountable. So everyone, have a good day. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Send this to someone you really hate or really like. Join our memberships, and I'll catch you in the next one. Oh, why'd you have to go and do that? Thought we had a good thing going. Now I'm going to fall a little off track since you broke the mold. Take something for the pain and regret for having invested so much time.